All right, welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to take a quick detour from the heavy, data-driven stuff for a minute to unpack a really beautiful philosophical fable. It's called The Wisdom of the Unseen Wind. It's about this boy named Ethan, and honestly, his journey might just completely flip how you look at your own ambitions and those unseen forces kind of steering your life.
Have you ever tried to catch the impossible? I mean, we all have, right? Think about it. Think about that urge we all share to just hyperfixate on completely unattainable goals. Maybe it's, mapping out this illusion of the perfect career path or demanding absolute control over a situation that's literally out of your hands. We chase, and, well, what does it usually lead to? Burnout? Just total, utter exhaustion. So I want you to hold on to that feeling of relentless pursuit as we dive into Ethan's story.
Chapter 1, A Boy's Impossible Dream. So, meet Ethan. He's this incredibly curious kid living in a village surrounded by rolling green hills. He is exactly the kind of person who asks a million questions about everything. Anyway, one windy afternoon, his eye catches a bright red kite way up in the sky. He's watching it just dance gracefully around the clouds and boom, a spark ignites. He looks at that freedom and he wants it for himself. There's an old man sitting nearby who asks him why he's staring at the kite, and Ethan says, "I want to catch the wind. If I can catch it, I think I can do anything." Now let's pause for a second, because this right here highlights a huge flaw in Ethan's logic. Actually, scratch that. It's a flaw in human nature. Ethan genuinely believes that if he can just capture and control this massive, completely uncontrollable force of nature, well, that equals ultimate success, unlimited power. It's that classic illusion of control we all fall for.
But notice how the old man responds. He doesn't give Ethan a whole lecture. He doesn't say, "Hey kid, that's scientifically impossible," or call it a waste of time. He just smiles and says, "Then go and chase it." It's this brilliant, simple nudge. The old man knows that some lessons just cannot be taught with words. They literally have to be lived. And so totally fired up by this, Ethan packs some food the very next morning and runs out into the fields to chase the impossible.
Okay, let's dive into this. Ethan's physical and emotional journey basically unfolds from sunrise to sunset. In the morning, you've got this boundless enthusiasm. He's running across fields, climbing hills, chasing every single gust. But by midday, that initial burst of energy slams into the dense reality of the forest, which is where he meets a woodcutter. By the afternoon, his progress completely halts at this strong river, a total dead end. And finally, at sunset, he has his big epiphany walking home. This whole arc perfectly mirrors the cycle of pretty much any major challenging project we take on in our own lives, doesn't it?
Chapter 2, Wisdom of the Woodcutter. So by midday, Ethan's endless running hits that dense reality of the forest. He has been running for hours, and every single time he thinks he is close to the wind, it just slips right through his fingers. But he's still full of ego, full of ambition, and he proudly announces to a woodcutter, "I'm chasing the wind!" But here is where grounded reality sets in. The woodcutter just laughs at him.
The woodcutter's response gives us our first major lesson. He tells the boy, "You can't catch the wind, but you can learn from it." The wind never stops moving, no matter how many obstacles it meets. And this brilliantly illustrates a total shift in perspective. The woodcutter is shifting Ethan from a mindset of possession to one of observation. He's basically saying, hey, look at the nature of the thing you're chasing. The wind's power isn't about being caught. Its power is its relentless movement, its resilience. When the wind hits a tree or a mountain, it doesn't just give up. It flows right around it.
Chapter 3, The River of Surrender. Eventually, Ethan comes to a river, and the current is just incredibly strong. There is no way he can cross it. I mean, imagine the exhaustion at this point. He has been running all day, he is physically drained, and he is just deeply emotionally disappointed. He's hit a wall, both literal and figurative. He is forced to just stop and sit on a rock. The chase is officially over.
While he's sitting there, totally defeated, an old woman washing clothes nearby asks why he's so down. He confesses he's been chasing the wind all day, but just can't catch it. And she drops this incredibly profound thought on him. The wind is not meant to be caught. Some things are meant to guide us, not belong to us. The crucial takeaway here is that difference between ownership and guidance. Think about how much of our lives we spend trying to own things, owning titles, owning outcomes, owning relationships. The old woman is telling Ethan to just let go of that desperate need to possess, and instead allow the forces of the world to just guide him.
Chapter 4, The Unseen Guide. So Ethan thanks her, takes a rest, and finally starts the long walk back home. And as the sun starts going down, a cool breeze touches his tired face. And suddenly, boom, it all clicks.
The truth just completely reveals itself. The wind had actually been with him the entire day. Think about it. It was the wind that pushed his kite and inspired him in the first place. It was the wind cooling him down when he was sweating and exhausted. And it was the wind that literally guided him to the woodcutter and the old woman so he could learn these lessons. He didn't ever need to catch it because it was already serving him.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the radical shift in perspective. Ethan's old mindset was that the wind absolutely must be caught to achieve anything. That's a mindset of domination, right? Control, conditional happiness. Like if I don't catch it, I'm a failure. But his new mindset? The wind is an unseen guide for the journey. This is pure surrender, awareness, gratitude. He's shifted from this desperate need to control his environment to simply experiencing it and learning from it.
Chapter 5. Embracing the Journey. Ethan finally makes it back to the village, right back to square one, and he runs into the exact same old man who told him to go chase the wind in the first place. And of course, the old man asks the inevitable question, well, did you catch the wind? Now, if this was morning Ethan, he'd be completely devastated. But this is sunset Ethan. He's returning empty-handed, he completely failed his original objective, and yet he is entirely transformed.
Ethan just smiles at the old man and says, "No. But I learned something better. The most important things in life are not always things we can hold in our hands. Sometimes they are lessons that help us grow." And that right there proves he's finally let go of his need for ownership. He realizes that those invisible lessons, resilience, knowing when to stop, letting himself be guided, those are infinitely more valuable than literally holding the wind in his hands. He chose personal growth over an impossible goal. A real game changer.
So what are the core lessons we can borrow from the wind to fight off our own burnout? First, keep moving through obstacles. Just like the wind flows right around trees, we have to adapt to our challenges instead of just breaking ourselves against them. Second, allow yourself to be guided. Seriously, stop trying to micromanage every single outcome. Third, focus on learning and improving. And finally, enjoy the process. I mean, if Ethan had spent the whole day just being angry about not catching the wind, he would have totally missed the beautiful forest, the river, and the incredible wisdom of the people he met along the way.
And that brings us to the ultimate moral of the story. Sometimes the journey teaches us way more than the destination ever could. It's a phrase we hear all the time, I know, but Ethan's story really gives it some weight. The destination was catching the wind, which was just this impossible, frustrating illusion. But the journey? The journey was the running, the failing, the conversations, and that ultimate realization of peace. The process absolutely always triumphs over the outcome because, the process is where your actual life is happening.
So I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. What invisible wind is guiding your journey today? What are the forces, the people, the situations pushing you, cooling you down, or maybe redirecting you right now? Stop trying to catch them. Stop trying to force them into a neat little box. Just take a deep breath, feel the breeze on your face, and let it guide you forward. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. See you next time.